welcome to this exclusive interview with Mr. Christian Maaß, the Director General for Energy Policy, Hydrogen and Efficiency at the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action at the Germany government. I'm Honam Shah, a senior content analyst from Leader Associates. Today we have the honor of diving into the vital topic of Germany-Australia collaborations on green hydrogen, a partnership that holds great promise for both nations' sustainable future. So, Mr. Christian Maaß, thank you so much for joining us for today's Impact interview. Let's proceed with our first question, exploring the goal and ambition of Germany's national hydrogen strategy and its position in the global green hydrogen industry. So in June 2021, the German federal government further strengthened the national climate goal to achieving the GHG neutrality already by 2045. After the country decided to phase out the coal-fired power, hydrogen is now considered to play a key role in reaching emission reduction target. So first of all, could you please briefly introduce the goal and ambition of the national hydrogen strategy, and how will Germany position itself in the global green hydrogen industry?
Germany is a highly intensive energy-consuming industrial country, so we're basically relying on a stable, secure, and also cost-efficient way of procuring energy. We will always be an energy importing country. We have been, we are, and we will be. But our energy supply has been under very much tension after the Russian attack on Ukraine. So that has even put some further scrutiny on our hydrogen ambitions. It's not only for climate reasons, but also to get more energy security, to get more diversification in our energy supply, that we put such a strong emphasis on hydrogen right now. So our first ambition is to get the industry decarbonized. As we all know, we are a highly industrialized country, also having lots of industry producing the four products, metals in all kinds, chemical industry. So all very energy intensive production processes, which cannot easily be electrified. Of course, electrification is what we can do in those sectors that can be easily electrified, like for instance, the power sector. We're already on a very good way, but also in the power sector, we have to match up with the intermittent sources like PV and wind that we are building up at high scale in Germany. But the industrial sector then is probably the top priority for us. We've given out just grants for steel smelters to move away from coal directly to hydrogen, as steel is a key industry for Germany and will be in the future. So staying in a highly industrialized exporting nation is the main scrutiny of us, and where hydrogen is probably the most important key to it.
As we all know, Australia has been identified as one of the most imperative trade partners in achieving Germany's hydrogen import target. So therefore, what significant role will Australia play in enhancing the security of Germany's energy supply? And what trade mechanism do you think should be put forward to ramp up the green hydrogen production by stimulating hydrogen export to Germany?
Mm-hmm. Well, what the key lesson is from our experiences in the last year is that we should have a very diverse supply of energy. We should never be reliant on a single country for a large share of our energy demand. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking, along with our European partners, to have a stable supply of hydrogen from Norway, from the Baltic region, from Southern Europe, even Northern Africa we have energy partnerships with. And of course, Australia can play a role in that as well, as we will not be able to produce all the hydrogen needed within Germany or our neighboring countries. We expect that there will be some demand that can only be met at the global scale. So having countries that not only have a tradition of being an energy exporter, but also very stable investment relations, so we can have a lot of security. Australia is potentially a prime partner, and that's why we have teamed up and with Australia and have a clean energy partnership and climate partnership with Australia. So together then we can create the preconditions for the ramp up of a market. And you've asked about the preconditions that we need. So actually we have to work on all the issues of the market creation at the same time. In Australia, of course, at the supply side, but the supply side needs a stable demand. So that is where our government comes in play. And we're currently revising our national hydrogen strategy and also putting lots of governmental security and money into ramping up the demand side. So the off-takers in Germany, meaning primarily the industrial sector, are being given security with, for instance, carbon contracts for difference, where the industry is being given, aid and subsidies for that extra cost that there are for the import of green hydrogen or other means of decarbonizing the industrialized processes. And so that's our means on how to get the necessary security on the offtake for hydrogen. We also have a scheme in play called H2 Global, which has a double auction mechanism, also giving security to the suppliers of hydrogen. They can participate in that auction, and another auction mechanism will then make sure that there is a demand for it, and each of it in a cost-efficient way. So that's the key part of it. And then, of course, the infrastructure is needed to import. We're not only working on pipeline infrastructure, there are also many of the ports in Germany working on import of ammonia or other hydrogen derivatives. So Germany is actually getting on the way to import high volumes of hydrogen as early as 2027 starting and 2030 ramping up, and in the years to come, of course, then with an even full-scale hydrogen market.
In 2021, the Australian and German governments announced the Australia-German Hydrogen Accord, a forward-learning initiative to deepen the bilateral cooperations on climate change and emission reduction. So what does that mean for Germany's booming hydrogen industry? And could you please share us with the latest proceeding of this initiative?
Well, we have, along with our Australian friends, gone a long way, starting with research projects, of course. For us, hydrogen is not only, of course, a prerequisite to keep our industry alive and to decarbonize our industries, but also, of course, a potential market where we can provide new technologies such as electrolyzers. And of course, electrolyzers will be built in places where there is loads of sun and wind and renewable energies, maybe even more than in Europe. As I mentioned, we will also build our own electrolyzers, but we see a large potential for all the necessary technologies to produce renewable energies, to convert that into hydrogen, and also for the transport chain. And that is a large chance for German industries. So that is something where our research institutes, but also many of our companies, have been working on along with the Australian partners, and also to make the first steps to scale up from research to industrial scale. We're still in the middle of that. And also what makes the partnership with Australia so interesting is that We both are aiming at decarbonizing our industries. Australia coming from a tradition of being a fossil fuel exporting country, Germany in a long tradition of importing high amounts of fossil fuels, and both aiming at decarbonizing our countries and the whole supply chain. And so to have this whole supply chain and industry chain in view, that I think is what makes it unique with our Australian partners, and I think there is a lot more to come.
Thank you, Matt. As we all know, Germany and Australia has been working on many feasibility study regarding the hydrogen trade corridors that has connected production center in Australia and the demand center in Germany. So among different solutions for international transportation, what do you think would be the most cost-effective and technological feasible way to transport green hydrogen from Australia to the demand center in Germany?
Yeah. Well, of course, it's not up to me to decide on what technology will win. We can see many technologies at the moment. We see at the moment, at this instant, that ammonia is probably the closest to be available at a large scale, as there already is an ammonia market and there already is a lot of ammonia transport happening. So there is infrastructure in place, there are ships already carrying ammonia, also the possibility of ships being fueled by ammonia themselves. So for the short term, I think that is something I would put some bets on, but we should not exclude other carriers. Methanol, of course, could be a measure. Liquefied organic hydrogen carriers also. So we're technology open. We want the market to come up with the best solutions, but also we have to scale and speed up things. So that's why we're looking at technologies at place, using these technologies, not wait for the best, but take what is there and also see what the market brings on if there are better technologies. So we should not wait for a perfect solution to come, but start what is there now and work to improve it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Christian Maaß, for your sharing of the insights as well as the experience with us today. It is evident that both nations are committed to forging a pathway to carbon neutralities and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And once again, our heartfelt appreciation to Mr. Christian Maaß for sharing his experience and vision with us today. And thank you all for joining us in this insightful conversation.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.